Welcome to the Baron's Hideout podcast. I'm your host, Dustin,
Now, Marin.
and today is a little weird for the both of us because we have to switch our schedule around a little bit. So we're doing this during the day, and we normally do this at night. So it feels very weird.
Not as spooky.
Yeah, not as spooky. Um, and today's movie, I wouldn't really call it a spooky movie. It's a bit weird.
Strange, definitely.
It definitely handles some topics that are, I would say, are important, but a lot of the words that they use in this movie, if you
Wouldn't
were to
fly
say them
nowadays.
today, you would be crucified. Um,
Yep.
so we're gonna tread very lightly on this and try not to
Get into politics too
say any of
much.
the bad stuff. But if we do, I just want everybody to know that we are just talking about the movie. We're not talking about individuals. Okay. So the movie that we're talking about today is Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker, or
Also known
AKA,
as
go ahead, Aaron.
Night Warning.
Night Warning. Um, it's a very, it's definitely a movie that starts off kind of like, oh, okay, this isn't too bad, but then you get into like the first 3 minutes, and then it's just
hmm
like, oh,
Just
what,
like it
what?
jumps right in.
um, But yeah, it's. I guess before we get into this, I didn't write down a lot of facts for this movie, just because I feel like we didn't really need to. I tried to get some Rotten Tomato scores, but apparently there's no critic score on this one, so that's at 0. But the audience score is at 56. So I guess that's not too bad for a weird movie, huh?
yeah, I mean, considering the time that it was made and like the subject matter. Yeah, I mean, and how people are.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say that's
Yes.
pretty good
I'm
considering
very
all that.
surprised that it's as high as it is because of the topics and the words being used in
hmm
this movie are. But hey, I'm glad that people enjoy it. I enjoyed it. I've watched this movie. I want to say I don't think it was 4 times. I think this was my third time watching this. I
Yeah.
watched it before, and then I watched it earlier this week, and I just rewatched it right before we started this, just to keep everything nice and fresh in my mind. But it's definitely a movie that if you guys haven't seen, this is from 1981. It's very good. I'm gonna let Aaron go into go into detail with the actors for this one since I've been doing that for the past couple of movies. So I figured if we start switching off a little bit, it'll we all can be a little bit more engaged. So Aaron, if you want
Yeah.
to read off some of the characters, you can.
Yeah. So we're gonna start off. You meet Billy, who's our main protagonist,
Yep.
and he's portrayed by Jimmy. Again, it looks like an easy name, but I could be butchering it. Jimmy McNichol, I think it is,
We're
but
awful with names, but yeah, I think that's about right. Yeah.
um, so he plays Billy Lynch. Like I said, who's our main character. And then you got Cheryl Roberts, who is Aunt Cheryl, who's portrayed by Susan Tyrell.
She steals
She
the
was,
fucking movie, dude.
oh, I know,
Her
she was
acting,
perfect for this role.
it is so good. It is so good. It's so crazy. Like you guys will know once we start getting into this, but it is
Yeah.
so good.
Oh my god. And then that one scene in the movie where she really kind of like breaks down and starts like,
Yeah, like towards the end of the movie, like the last like
yeah.
20 minutes or so.
hmm
Oh yes,
Um,
100%.
yeah, she was perfect for the role though. She did such a good job. Uh, but yeah. And then this guy, we got Detective Joe Carlson, who's based, I guess you can call him antagonist.
Yeah, most definitely.
Who is portrayed by Bo Svensson, who I'm not too familiar with,
Like
but
he looked familiar to me, but
yeah.
I think when I was even like looking him up, I didn't recognize anything that he was in.
hmm Um,
Good actor though.
no,
He's also really
yeah,
good.
yeah. Those are like the main characters, but the rest of them are kind of like they play a role, but they're more minor. But we got
Yeah.
Margie, who's played by Marcia Lewis. And then Julie Linden, who is Billy's girlfriend,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
It was played by Julia Duffy. Names are actually very similar.
Yeah. It's like, oh, let's just take out the A and put an E.
And then we got Sergeant Cook, who was played by Britt Leach. Um, like I said, that's like the main characters. He
Yeah.
plays a role in it, but he's not quite
Yeah.
as much as the first few.
Yeah, there's
But
really only about like 4 or 5 like main
main
people
characters,
in this
yeah.
movie. There are a bunch of other like minor ones like we're talking about. But yeah, those I think are the ones that would be the ones we should probably just talk about. So
Yeah.
yep, those are the people and the actors.
But yeah. And then I mean, if we'll mention throughout anyways too, if
Yeah.
we come across, as we meet new characters, but
Yes,
that's
exactly.
about who you need to know for the most to kind of get through, not get through the movie, but
Yeah.
to kind of understand.
Yeah, this
But
movie is an hour and 32 minutes, so it's a pretty short film. It goes
yeah,
by pretty quick. It has a lot of stuff going on with it,
as I say, a
so my
lot happens
notes.
though.
What's that?
I was gonna say, yeah, a lot happens though. So like,
Yeah,
it's not like you just fly through it and it's like an uneventful movie. Like they cram a lot into the short amount of time.
exactly. It's very good. I do like the flow of this movie. There's never really a dull moment. It's not really
hmm
like, oh, okay, well, there's nothing going on right now. Every scene has something going on in it.
Yeah.
And I will start us off today with how this movie starts. As
Alrighty.
you just think going into this movie, it's gonna be fine.
Everything's
No,
okay.
it's not fine.
It never is.
So we get a shot of a family who's a mom. Yeah, it's a mom and a dad. It looks like they're packing up the car. There's a lady holding a baby, who is we get to know is Aunt Cheryl, and she's holding Billy. And the mom and dad that are going into the car are Billy's mom and dad. So they're going away. I think she said they're going overseas to go see the grandparents, which is weird.
Yeah.
Why? Where would they have been? Do they live in like Europe and like they're in America? I don't think we really know where they are located. I don't think we ever get a location, do we? In this
Yeah.
movie?
I want to say for
I
some
don't
reason I
think
read
so.
something about I don't think they like for the setting, but oh no, that's what it was. I was gonna say I read something about Oregon, but I think that's where it was released first.
Yeah,
So
that makes
but yeah, I
sense.
don't think they really give you like a set
Yeah,
like
I
answer
mean,
on where it takes place.
I'm just gonna say it's in America.
Yeah.
It's the 80s. It's 1981. If it was in Europe, you would know, but just
Oh
the
yeah.
way everything looks, it's definitely
It's got to be
American.
the US, yeah.
Yeah. So they're packing up the car, and Billy starts crying his eyes out because they're leaving, and Cheryl is just holding him. Then we've cut away to the mom and dad driving on like a mountainside. I think they're driving their way to the airport or wherever they were going. I think they were
Yeah.
going to an airport. So they're driving. Things are completely fine. They're looking at pictures of Billy and just having a good time. They're smiling and everything. And then they come behind a car, and the dad tries to brake,
Oh
and he
jeez.
can't because the brakes aren't working. So then they
Whoops.
I'm sorry. Like, this is supposed to be like really like intense and everything, but just the way, just the way they're acting in the
Oh,
car
I
and how he's driving
know.
is so funny. Oh my god,
That
it's
shit is
really
scary
like
though.
it's wicked scary because they're on the
Like,
mountainside, so
yeah.
they're like swerving because they can't slow down, and they're going down slope, so they're just increasing in speed, and he's
Yep.
trying to like
And
avoid
then you
all
get
this
cars
stuff.
coming both directions and
Yeah. So
it's
then they
crazy shit.
get behind another like a big a logging truck because I don't think they could have went around it because there was another car. So they just go slam right into it. The father, you see that the log hit his head,
Uh
and it like snaps back. It's definitely broken, but his head didn't like fall off or anything like
decapitate,
that.
yeah.
And it just goes like straight through the car, and then like the mom's trying to get out of the car, and like trying to get around it, and also trying to like steer the car. I don't know why she didn't try going out her side of the car. I don't know why she needed to go over to
Mm.
the driver's side. Um, but I think the log eventually gets off of the car and then they break free because they were just kind of like holding on and getting
And
momentum
just being
from
pulled by it.
getting momentum by the logging truck. So then that topples over and they fall and I don't think does the car explode?
It does.
It does?
So
Okay.
yeah,
For
it
some
goes
reason,
off the
whenever
cliff.
a car goes off the edge of any cliff, no matter how high, it has to explode. It just
It
has to.
always.
In every movie.
It's the rules.
Yeah, it's the rules. Um, so yeah, that happens, and then we cut to 14 years later, with Billy and his aunt Cheryl still living in the same house. And I think Cheryl's getting Billy breakfast, and then goes up to his room to wake him up. Finds his wallet, goes through his wallet.
Yeah,
Why?
that's a red flag right there
Yeah,
already.
automatically just like, okay, this lady's obviously got some
She's
sort
got
of issues.
screw loose, yeah.
Yeah, super. And so she sees the picture of Billy and we would presume is his girlfriend. We don't know her name yet, but her name is Julie. And then finds a condom in like the other side of the wallet, and then she like just puts it down, and then gently wakes up Billy. And then they go down for breakfast. I think she wakes up and she goes
He's
to
like
wake up.
5 more minutes.
Yeah.
Did you mention that? Yeah, this is 14 years later after the accident. By the
Yeah.
way, Billy was
14
like
years
3 years
later.
old.
Yep.
His
So
parents died.
he's in high school. Yeah, he's in high school.
Yeah, he was like 17, I believe. Yeah,
Yeah, something like that.
So probably junior year. So hello, Lawrence Tan, 105, 1505, 1981.
Yeah. Hey, what's going on, Lawrence? Thank you for stopping in, man. So they go down, and I guess it's supposed to be almost Billy's birthday, and he asks his aunt, like, hey, can my girlfriend, we now know her name, Julie, can she come over for dinner? And then Cheryl starts making, like, excuses about, like, no, it's just going to be me and you. I'm going to be your date. It's just like,
Yeah,
so, like, that's another red
yeah.
flag. It's like, what?
Right off the bat, right there, this
What?
lady's
Like,
something's off.
what is going on? Like, you're going through my wallet, which he doesn't know about, and then you're gonna go and say that I'm your date for your birthday dinner that's at the house. What? It's not like they're going anywhere fancy. She's just gonna cook it there, you know.
Yeah,
So if it was personally, if that was me and my aunt said it to me, I'm like, I'm leaving and I'm living with somebody else.
yeah,
I'm not your
right.
date. I'm not your date. And then we then cut to his basketball practice, because I think this is the only part of the school that we see
Yeah,
is the basketball court and a little bit of like a hallway, and we
and
focus
then
a
like a
lot.
locker room. And that's
Yeah,
really it, though.
we focus a lot on basketball. So they're having a practice, but even from like right here, because this movie, I'm gonna say right now, is very it's very homosexual, and a lot of like the other reviews and stuff that I've seen, they've also were describing it that way. And it
Yeah,
definitely is, because you can feel some sort of that tension in this practice, because everybody's shirtless and like they're really close up on all the boys,
hmm
and like then the coach like slaps one of the asses, like, like, hey, good job,
Oh,
which,
nowadays
no, I
that
don't
guy would be
think
in
that
jail.
happens.
Yeah,
I don't think that happens. That's a lawsuit waiting to happen, I think.
right.
So we get a little bit of that, but then we also kind of get it with his friend Eddie. I guess you can call him his friend. I don't even know. They don't really.
Teammate, friend,
We don't.
enemy, bully.
Yeah, I don't know. He's just like he's a bully, but he's also really stupid.
Yeah,
So
he's not very important though.
no, he's only in like a couple of scenes, and it's just to antagonize Billy a little bit. So then, like, the coach asks to see Billy after practice because he wants to talk to him about something, and then Eddie's just like, "Oh, you're getting real close to the coach over there, and you guys are like buddy and all this other stuff." So like, you can definitely just like from that you can feel like the little bit of sexual tension, but it's
Mm.
not bad. I'm not saying it's bad. I mean, movies are allowed to have anything that they want, so I don't want
Yeah.
anybody to think that with me saying that I'm saying this is bad. I think they do a really good job with it. Um, I don't think they're trying to do that intentional. I just think it's there just because of the way it's shot.
Yeah.
Well,
I
what do you
think
think about that whole scene, Aaron?
I think it kind of like foreshadows what we find out about the coach a little bit. I think it
I
kind of
agree.
hints at that, and that does play a big role in the movie. Once you meet, the detective, but
Yeah.
and it definitely like takes a lot of that I'm trying to think of the word, like not fear, but like the vibe that the 80s gave off towards like homosexuality and
Yes.
so
Yes,
but I think
because
it kind of hints towards, you know,
yep,
um
I agree on that because a lot of
yeah.
movies, especially horror movies back in the 80s, were very homosexual
Hmm.
and very fearful of that as well, but also portraying it at the same time, like Nightmare on Elm Street 2. Like, there's a whole documentary on that one. I think you guys need to go watch.
Hmm.
But we'll probably talk about that movie at some point and then really start diving into that. But yeah, definitely, I agree on that 100%. And I guess I'll let you take it away from right here. I think it's a good
Alrighty.
spot to switch off.
All right. So, yeah, this is after basketball practice. Eddie, like you said, he's bullying for being excused. I mean, like I said, it's not really it's frowned upon nowadays, but he calls him a queer.
Yeah,
Because he thinks because he's so buddy buddy with the coach, he's close with his coach. I mean, a lot of kids do get like close to their, they're like it's like a peer thing. I
yeah,
mean,
exactly.
you develop a relationship with your coach if you're playing basketball for years or any sport.
Yeah, you
Just like
see
with a
them every
teacher.
day, and like you
Yeah.
talk to them about
Oh,
things, and you
but
see them probably more than you see like your parents and stuff. So
yeah, but again, it's the 80s, so this kid jumps to conclusions. He's like, "Oh, you're banging the gym teacher or you're banging the coach."
yeah,
But so then this is when we get a little glimpse of the hallway, I believe.
yep,
And uh he's leaving after talking to his coach for an hour. Um and he is getting scared by his girlfriend, Julie, who is the photographer for the school.
big
Uh
ass camera.
oh yeah, yeah, the big ass cameras. But he comes around the corner and she's right there. She snaps a picture of him as a big flash. He's like, "Ah, don't do that to me." But yeah, so she goes, "Oh, it's 6 o'clock. Why are you still here? You were in there for an hour talking to the coach." And she's like, "What's going on with that?"
Yeah,
He
some more of the
so
homosexuality stuff. It's like
yeah,
littered
right.
throughout this whole movie.
Oh, I know. But we go to find out that the coach told Billy that there's going to be a scout from the University of Denver, which is where his girlfriend Julie is going to school. So he tells him that there's a scout going to be at the big game, and make sure he's on his A game, and that he can get a full scholarship through basketball at the University of Denver, and he can go to school with his girlfriend. But so he tells her about that. She goes, "Oh, that's exciting." And then we cut to Billy getting home. Aunt Cheryl. Um, he tells her about the opportunity. He's like, "Oh, the coach. I stayed after practice, talked to the coach. He told me there's gonna be a scout. I can get a full scholarship at the University of Denver. I can go with Julie." And she just instantly, just right off the bat, "Nope, you're
Yep,
not
complete
going."
shutdown.
Uh,
Excuses up the ass.
yeah, and just starts listing off excuses and you're gonna stay here forever. We're gonna take care of each other,
I got
and
a job lined up for
yeah,
you,
I got
and
a job lined up for you, and
it's like,
uh,
damn.
he, he's not happy about that. Um, and so they get into like this heated argument about it. She's cooking dinner while they're talking.
Hmm.
Um, so she's not paying attention. She grabs a hot pan out of the oven, burns the shit out of her hand, yells at him, saying he owes her for the last 14 years, for, I dropped everything for you. So that's like emotional blackmail right there.
Yeah.
That's another sign right there that something's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
um you know like, you don't hold that against a child, when you when you
No,
take care of them.
no, that's
You
that's
volunteered
awful.
for that. Yeah.
Completely
But
awful.
so she wants him to stay at home forever, and he doesn't. Obviously, I mean, what kid wants to be at home with their parents or their
Especially someone
guardian
like that, dude. I would be like, I'm out now. Bye.
Yeah, right.
Bye.
But
You don't want to support me and no.
yeah.
Say good job. I'm proud of you. No. Screw that.
But yeah, right. So then we cut to the next morning, or yeah, the next morning. It's Billy's birthday. Apparently, Cheryl's over the whole fight last night. She thought about it.
Yeah, she goes
Um,
down to like the pickling cellar or something, right? And she like talks to herself.
yeah, she like talks to herself. She has like a shrine, I believe, right? Oh no, that's later in the
Yeah,
movie.
that's later.
But yeah, she just kind of has conversations with herself. So she's already, there's something off about her.
Super unsettling.
um, but yeah, so once again, Aunt Cheryl was waking up Billy in the morning for school. His birthday. Like, wake up, Billy, wake up. And he's just like, what? And she's like, happy birthday. And she gives him a card. He's like, thanks. He's like, are you not mad about last night? And she's like, well, I thought about it. And you know what? Congratulations on the scholarship, or on potentially,
Yeah.
good luck on the scholarship. So, and he's like, all right, I got to get ready for school. She goes, hey, on your way to school, because he's got to pick up his girlfriend, actually, or something like that, I believe.
Yeah.
She asked him to stop at Brody's TV repair shop, and he's like, why not? Why don't you do it? She's like, I gotta go shopping for a certain somebody, get him a present. He's like, ooh, okay. So he doesn't question it. But um yeah, so he goes and picks up Julie, stops by the TV repair shop. I don't think it really shows it too much, or if at all,
No, we don't
but
see the shop at all. I think it gets cut straight to
um
school.
yeah. So um yeah, there he's at school. And then I don't think anything too important happens until the next scene. It's just
No. The thing is with these school scenes, like I didn't even write down any notes with anything that really happened
yeah,
during like the lunches and stuff. Um, just because it's not really much going on. They just
yeah.
kind of talk about like him and his aunt and the opportunity and all this other stuff. But
Oh,
that's
thank you
about
so
it.
much, Matt.
Yeah, Matt, thanks for that resub, dude. Um, so yeah, I kind of just
But
skipped over that. Do you want to
yeah,
get into the next part, or do you want
yeah,
me to take over it? It's up to you.
yeah. I
I'll
can
let
go
you.
into it if you want.
I'll let you
Yeah.
break in the what really breaks this movie open.
um. Yeah. So this is when their shit really starts to go down. Uh, it's dinner time, or nighttime, and we got Cheryl cooking. She's prepping a birthday party all for Billy. She got the TV repair guy there working. He's probably just like, as you get into the scene, he's just finishing up. She's like, "Oh, you're leaving already?" And he's like, "Well, I did my job." He's like, "What else? Why else do I need to be here?"
Yeah,
She
exactly.
starts, so she starts throwing herself at this guy,
She
taking
got
her
herself
shirt
all
off,
dolled up
titties
too, I
hanging
think.
out. Yeah, she put on makeup and put on a bow and all the, she got all nice and dolled up, but with intentions of sleeping with this guy.
Yeah.
Because a little backstory, she doesn't have a husband, no boyfriend, nothing, no really dating history aside from what we'll get into later.
Yep.
You'll meet someone, but yeah, so this guy isn't having it. And she keeps trying, she's persistent. Um, so he's like, nah, I'm good. And he's like, you're a psycho bitch, and he slaps her. And she just she does not like that.
No.
So he starts walking out. Um, and she grabs a knife off of the wall, comes up behind him, stabs him in the back.
Mm-hmm.
uh, he's like, "You crazy bitch." And then I think she continues to.
Yeah.
She ends up stabbing him in like the chest or the neck. Again, just continues going at it. And meanwhile, you got Billy who's coming home from school late again. He looks through the window and sees them kind of struggling. He doesn't really see any details
Not yet, no.
through the window, but he sees something going on. He goes into the house. Actually, no. Actually, this is right. And then the neighbors come in.
Yeah,
Margie
right
and her
after he goes to
husband.
help her. Yep.
Yeah.
Because
So if
this
you
is
want,
supposed to be also for his birthday dinner. So she was getting
yep.
things ready for his birthday dinner. And this is how soon this happens. This happens at 17 minutes and 30 seconds into the movie, is when this shit starts happening. And it's
um,
crazy.
yeah.
Absolutely
But
crazy.
so then you got Billy. He's trying to. Oh yeah, I have like 5 pages of notes for this movie.
5 pages of notes? Holy shit,
Well,
Aaron.
like it's mostly just like the plot summary, but like yeah,
I
and
have
I have some notes
one
in
and a
there.
half pages. Wow.
um, but
Oh,
again,
you're me
I used,
today. I'm the one that usually has like 5 pages. That's
but
awesome.
yeah. So we meet Margie, and I forget her husband's
I
name. He's
don't.
not really shown too much in the movie. I want to say it's like Frank or something,
Yeah, I
but
think Frank is right. It's a super generic dude's
yeah,
name. Everybody else's name. I
um,
mean, like Billy's pretty generic, and
yeah. I
Cheryl
mean,
sort of, but
yeah,
Margie is definitely I guess in
that's
that
such.
time is kind of generic.
Oh yeah, that was very common. But yeah, so he's in there. He doesn't know what's going on. He pulls the knife out of the guy's chest. He's trying to comfort Margie. She starts crying. Oh, he tried to rape me. He tried to rape me, and he threw himself on me.
Yeah, a
And
lot of the R word in this movie,
yeah,
and a lot of the F word too, which we'll try not to say.
yeah, but yeah, word that wouldn't be accepted nowadays.
No.
But yeah, and then Margie and her husband walk in, and they see a dead body in the kitchen floor, and they just see Billy holding a bloody knife covered in blood. You got Cheryl covered in blood, crying.
Yeah. I think like
And
her
they're just
tits are hanging out too, so it's just like,
yeah.
what the fuck? Like, I
But
don't think your nephew needs to see that.
yeah, right. So um they're trying to wrap their heads around it. Um and that's when the detective who's on the case
Detective Dickhead.
joins. Detective Dickhead. I like that. I'm gonna start calling him that for the rest of the episode.
He legit is, man. He's
But
like,
if yeah, so if you want to introduce us to Detective Carlson,
I will. So we get them, but it's Detective Carlson and is it
one of the like
Sergeant Cook?
deputies, Sergeant Cook, I believe. Yeah.
I think that's what he is. I just wrote him down as Cook in this because it didn't really say what he was. I think it said
Yep.
Sergeant like once. So yeah, they have some medics there. I think some more police officers, and then Detective Carlson goes to the table where everybody's sitting down. Apparently, he's already asked them like the questions like multiple times, and they don't want to like answer it anymore because they've repeated themselves like 20,000 times, and he just
Yep.
guess he doesn't just want to learn and accept that like what happened. So he's talking to Billy, and Billy described what happened. He's like, "Oh, that's good. We said that word for word, just like the last couple of times I said it. Did your aunt tell you? Have you memorized that?" And he's just like, "No. What are you talking about, dude?" Like he's like, "So this was you guys are pleading attempted rape?" And they're like, "Yes." He's like, "Oh, okay, that's real good." So then he walks away, and Billy, I think, wants to go outside to get some fresh air because this is getting a little too much. And like
Yeah.
I would do the same thing. Like I'm just gonna go outside for a couple minutes and let me
Kind of.
just air out.
Mm-hmm.
And then as he's doing that, Margie asks her husband to go out there with him. He's like, "Well, I don't think I should. Like I probably wouldn't either. If I was in that situation, I would be like, no, just
Yeah.
leave me alone. I just want to deal with this." But as he's walking away, Detective Carlson comes back and then pulls Billy aside and asks him even more questions. And then has Billy turn around just asks him just like pretty much all the same exact questions, like what happened and all this other stuff. Because I guess he doesn't want him to look at Cheryl because he thinks that
Mm-hmm.
like he's waiting for like a signal, like okay, yep, you're saying the right thing,
Yep.
or no, you're saying the wrong thing. But he turns around anyway. Then he starts yelling and tells everybody to shut up, and then they're like, "Why does it have to be so loud?" So yeah, this guy
Yeah.
he's such an asshole. He's
Oh
such
my
an
god, I
asshole.
know.
So
Learn to
uh,
hate him even more further in the movie.
yeah, and then Cheryl gets up and he's like, "Well, I'm gonna tell him exactly what happened. I'm gonna tell him that I killed him and that he tried to rape me." So she runs over. Well, she like starts walking really quick, and then she gets like around the corner, and then she gets herself all like puppy-eyed and everything, and like covers herself up, and then
Yep.
walks over to. This is for me. If I was a detective right then and there, I would have been like, "There is definitely something wrong," even though he already kind of knows there's something wrong.
Yeah.
But then I would right here, I would definitely like, okay, what's going on?
Yeah.
So they walk over. Billy puts his arm around Cheryl, which that's fine. Like it's your aunt.
He's
Something just
comforting
happened.
her,
Like
you know.
that's just comfort.
Yeah.
And then he says like, "Oh, you do make a lovely couple," and they're just like, "What?" So then Cheryl gets down on her knees and like grabs Billy's hand and starts like caressing it,
Yeah, I saw that.
and
It's so
then he's just
cringy.
staring at them, was like,
Like, what
"Okay."
the fuck?
And then he's just like, "I just don't believe anything you guys are pretty much saying." And then that's pretty much the end of that. And I think we cut back to school again. Like I said, I didn't really write down anything for school.
Yeah.
Let me know if I'm missing anything, Aaron, because I think there's a couple of
Um.
things I just didn't write
Yeah, I think it
down.
was just like another like filler scene of like them at school.
Yeah.
But there's a one quote though, one funny
Oh,
thing
you
from
got
that
another
scene.
quote?
Sort of, yeah. Like when they were looking at the cops there, looking at the dead body, and he was like, "Oh, poor guy didn't even get his dick out," or something like
Yeah, didn't even get
that.
his pecker out. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh my god. So we get like I guess another scene at school, and then we see Billy coming home off of his. He has like a moped or like almost like a dirt bike type thing that he
Mhm.
like drives to school. And he's going up. He looks through one of the windows and sees Cheryl burning papers,
Yep.
and he's just like, "What?
Pictures and like notes and stuff like that.
Like what is going on?" So he like sneaks in and like scares the hell out of her. And she's like, "Well, I thought you were at practice." It's like it was a short practice. I'm home now. What are you doing? And she's like, "Oh, I'm just cleaning up the attic and getting rid of some stuff that we don't need because I'm going to turn that into um
Like
your
an
room."
apartment for you.
And because she still doesn't want him to leave for college, so she's like, "I'm just going to turn it into a room for you." And he's just like, "Okay." So then he starts going upstairs and he's like, I wonder what's in the attic. I would do the exact same thing if someone tells me not to go
Yeah,
up the
right.
attic, if she tells him not to go up there.
Yeah, she's like, "It's not until it's ready."
Yeah, it's like you
um,
stay away from the attic. So he goes up
my
there.
curiosity is gonna get the best of me, you know.
Yeah. So he goes up there. It's like super dusty and gross because no one's been up there for literally years.
Mhm.
Finds like mice, which is like I guess that's something you would find up there since nobody has been up there and it's all cobwebbed and everything. Then he finds a box of papers. Grabs the box of papers. He's about to head back down. He's like, "Oh, okay." Da 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 da. Rat runs by his feet, and then he somehow does like a 360, and then tumbles down the stairs. Like,
Mhm.
oh, whoa, whoa!
Oh,
It was really funny. All
how
you see like
clumsy
his,
of me.
you just see his feet, and then he just like falls downstairs, and then she runs upstairs. And it's like, "What were you doing up there? Are you okay?" And all this other stuff. He's like, "Yeah, it's fine." And then he finds like a picture of Chuck. And he's like, "Who's this?" And then she's like, "Oh, this was just some idiot that your mother dated." And he's like, "Oh, okay."
And then just doesn't think much of it after, and at that point, at least.
Yeah, and that's
But
pretty much it with that. They kind of I don't think anything else really happens. I know that we cut next
not
to
really.
Carlson now showing up at the school
Yep.
and visits the
The
coach.
coach.
and he starts talking to him, and then he says something about his ring and all that stuff. It's like, what would you do if I told you I had the mate to that? And then he shows him the ring, then reads inside it like the initials that
Mm-hmm.
was for Brody, and then for Landers, and then starts saying like, oh, you need to like resign and all this other stuff, and like I know that you guys were pretty close, and he's like, what do you think Billy has to do with any of this? And he's just like, well, Billy doesn't have anything to do with this. He's like, well, you need to resign before things start getting
We end up lynched or something, he
yeah,
says.
something like even worse than what it is right now. So that pretty much happens. Then
It's like a
we
threat right there.
yeah, he walks away, and I think he's also trying to get his attention. Like he's trying to get Carlson's attention again, but he doesn't
He
give a.
just walks away,
He does
yeah.
not give a shit. Like
Such a fucking dick.
he has some sort of hatred against gay people. Like he's so hateful and like
Just
so
homophobic.
super like. Even though Billy's not really showing any sort of signs with that, this guy's just a coach. There's so many other boys there. Why don't you just say they're all gay? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
who gives a shit, man? He's a coach, and he's been with these boys for how long, and nothing has ever happened. Like, there's
Yeah,
no
right.
that we know of. There was any incidents, because they don't really talk about it throughout the movie. It's just like leave
Yeah.
the guy alone. Like
He
fuck.
does accuse him though of like molesting a couple of boys
Yeah, but
at one
he's just
point.
saying that just to ruffle his feathers and
Oh yeah.
stuff. Definitely.
Hmm.
Um, so that happens. Then we cut back to Aunt Cheryl, who is down in the I call it the pickling cellar because that's I guess where she put all her pickled vegetables that everybody said
Tomatoes and
was
all that.
absolutely awful. So she starts tearing down this wall, and we're just like, what is she doing?
Yeah.
Um, so she opens up this big wall, and then we find a shrine of pictures of Chuck,
Shock.
and she's talking to him, and this is like, he's never gonna leave me. I know you left me, and I took care of that a while ago, but he's not gonna leave me. I'm gonna make sure that he's gonna be here forever, and all
Yep.
this other stuff. And it's just like, what the fuck, man?
He's a whack job.
Like super wacky. And then from there, Aaron, I will let you take it
All
because I think
right.
it starts even getting even more crazy from here on out.
Yeah. So she's talking to the shrine of Chuck, and then she's interrupted by knocks on the door.
Hmm?
And of course, it's fucking Carlson. This motherfucker. Um, so he knocks on the door. Then nobody answers because she's downstairs talking to the ghost of Chucker or whatever.
Yeah,
um,
herself, essentially.
herself. Yeah.
We'll find
Um,
out later.
yeah. But then so she doesn't hear the knocks at first. He lets himself in, which that shit wouldn't fly nowadays either. Everybody's got
You have to have a
guns and
fucking
shit
warrant,
now.
first of all,
Yeah.
especially if you're a
Um,
cop.
yeah. So he walks right into the house, just looking around. She comes in behind him, I believe, with a crow. No, yeah, she comes upstairs with the crowbar that she used to tear
Yeah,
on the wall.
just like,
Um,
whoa,
like, all right.
relax.
She starts screaming at him, "Why the fuck are you in my house? Get out! Get out!" She's swinging the crowbar, hitting its counter with it. He's backing off. He's like, "Okay, okay. I just want to ask
Like,
you a few
ooh.
questions." Um,
All right, I just want to ask
so
you a few questions.
yeah, so she kicks him out, and then I believe that's all that really happened comes of that. And then
Mm-hmm.
we cut to Billy at school. He's with Julie.
Yep.
They're getting lunch. Again, this is still his birthday.
One thing I do have to say though, I like their lunch area. It's all outside.
Yeah, right. I
Like
didn't have that.
I wish we were able to eat outside when we were in school.
Hmm.
Like I would love that. I mean, I don't. Do we see where they even get the food? Is there? There
It
must
looks like
be.
a concession stand or something.
Yeah, something like that. But like that's awesome. I would love to have that
Yeah,
option.
right.
I think kids need that. Get some fresh air. But
Hmm.
anyway, I will let you continue. I just thought that was really cool that they have
Yeah, no,
outside seating.
same. I never got that. I never had that in my school, but yeah, so they're buying lunch. He goes to pay for his food, and she's like, "Nah, it's your birthday. I got you, dude." So
Like you're awesome.
So they start walking off. They go eat their lunch, and then Billy continues to get bullied by was it Eddie?
Eddie, yep.
Yeah, Eddie, one of his teammates, the one who was giving him shit for being gay.
Yeah.
Um
Real close to
Earlier.
your coach.
Yeah, right. Um so he starts giving him shit. Billy doesn't like that.
Nope.
So he pours milk on his head. And Julie's like, "Oh no, what's he getting himself into?" And then he punches him in the face, and then they just start climbing on each other, fighting, and um, becomes this whole thing. They get broken up, and people are cheering them on. But
Yeah, it's just like usual, like high school fights and stuff.
yeah,
More like
which
80s fight stuff because like when I saw like fights in my high school, they were never really no one really
nothing.
surrounded people. They just kind of like
No,
kept their distance, and then the teacher
just
would just
watched. Yeah,
go over and like, break it up. So I
I
guess
know
the
there was no.
80s they were like way more interactive with the fights.
Yeah, right. They didn't have that like the pit with the everybody like a big rumble type
Yeah,
thing. You ever
everybody
notice
trying to
that
get
too?
in there.
Yeah, but yeah. So Carson shows up again at the school. He tracks down Billy, I believe, right? Oh, he's talking to Billy, and he
Um,
calls
let me see.
about the coach.
I,
Um, yeah, yeah.
yeah, he
So
does.
yeah, he shows up to Billy. Um, Basically just shit talking the coach, calling him gay, saying he molested kids,
And
and
saying a lot of the F word.
yeah. I'm not gonna say it, just
No,
but
we're
yeah,
gonna steer clear from that. We'll just say F word. We'll be safe on that.
yeah.
You guys know what we're talking about.
But then he basically insinuates that Billy is also a homosexual, um, and that he's got like something going on with the coach and his husband, who is now dead, which was the TV repair guy.
Yeah, and
But
he just won't let it go. Just
yeah,
won't.
he's determined. But so then after that conversation, we cut to Billy and Cheryl having an intense dinner. Um,
Yeah.
eh, she's just chomping away on a fucking steak, like I know, very aggressively at that.
Put that shit in a blender and drink it.
Yeah, literally. um, and she starts lecturing him on homosexuality and how it's bad, and basically how everyone thought back in the day.
Yeah, she says
It's not right.
homosexuals are very, very sick.
Yeah,
How fucked up is that, man? Like even like for today, if you were
yeah,
to say that, you would be fucking crucified.
I know. Different
So
times.
yeah, completely. But like
Crazy.
we were saying before, this movie is very progressive.
Yeah,
It's
and the way
very
that
progressive.
portrays the gay cat or gay characters, and
Yeah.
you know, it
Like
doesn't like you know demonize them, I guess you can say, quite as
yeah,
much as they
they're not like they're slandering them. Yes, but also not
but it
so
kind of
much.
brings light to it.
Yeah, especially what happens at the end of the movie. Just like, okay, they did a very
Hmm.
good job with how they handled this and everything. Because I think they did a great job. We'll get into it later, but I think they did very well with this movie, especially with it being in 1981,
Yeah,
like right at the beginning of all this. It's they did a very good job.
I agree. But yeah, so she lectures him on how they're sick and how it's wrong, and basically asking him the same thing, like, "Do you have any of these types of feelings, or are you?"
Yeah, it's just edging him a
um,
little bit, just wanting him to say yes. And he's like, no,
but
fuck you, fuck you.
um, Carlson, he's convinced he can prove that Billy killed Brody, but we'll see how that plays out for him.
Yeah,
He won't leave it alone though.
nope.
um, So, and then I believe he's having a conversation with the coach again in the police office, like the police in his
Yeah,
office.
and you can definitely tell that he is hated around the whole station.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because he's even like lecturing, is like rapes up like 18%, and then he says, I think child was it abuse or
Like molestation or
is that what it
something.
was? Like it's like
I
it's
think
up like
so.
3% or something.
Something
It's like
like
what the
that.
hell's going on? They're all just like, "What are you talking about, dude? I haven't heard any of this." He's
Yeah.
just like he's so fixated on those two
On this
topics.
one case, yeah.
It's just
But
like, what the fuck? Just relax, dude.
right. But yeah. So the coach is talking to Carlson in his office. That's again when he accuses them of molesting boys, teenage boys, and this
Why?
guy, man.
Why? Just let it go.
um, but they talk about how he's married to Brody, and basically just like, and then he's just like, "Fuck you, dude," and just leaves.
Yeah.
Basically, uh, and
Well,
then
I think he also tells Carlson that Brody was actually married to somebody before too, which I
oh
presume
yeah,
would be a lady, and Carlson's just like, I don't give a fuck. I
yeah,
doubt it.
that's right.
I doubt it. I don't care.
There's no change in this guy's mind.
No, he's completely like set on his thoughts right now.
Very stubborn.
Yeah, and
But
I can take it away from right here if you want, Aaron.
yeah.
And then Carlson now visits Julie's home and starts asking her questions about her and Billy and if they're making it. And she's just like, that's none of your fucking business, dude. It's like, first of all, these people are, we said 17, right?
Yeah. They're in
And
high school still.
he's asking if they're having sex. And he's like, I presume probably in like his 40s, late 30s,
Yeah.
maybe early 40s.
He's middle aged,
It's
yeah.
very weird for you to be asking a 17, maybe 18-year-old that, unless like he had some like real like something super important to ask, not just to keep saying that Billy's gay.
Yeah.
You know?
And the way he like asks about it too is just so weird. He's like, "Are you making?" It's like,
Yeah.
what
And
the
she
fuck?
says like, "What the fuck? Leave me alone." And just walks away and goes back to her house.
So good on
Like,
her.
god damn, dude. Ah, like even the first time when I watched this movie, I wanted to punch this guy in the face
Oh, I
immediately.
know, right?
It's so bad, and like it doesn't go away after the first, like after like the second or third time you watch it. You still hate this guy. Like the hatred it's there. Um, then I think Julie and Billy are at school or something, and they ask like, Billy asks if she can come over later, and then she's like, "Well, isn't your aunt gonna be home?" And he
Nah,
says,
she's
"No,
gonna be out later.
she's gonna be out, and we'll be okay." And she's like, "Okay." And then we get sort of like the beginning of like a sex scene, which also is kind of weird since these kids are supposedly 17.
Hmm.
I guess we'll just say they're 18, but like I think they're
I
portrayed as
mean,
17-year-olds.
yeah, no, I mean the actors they have to be at least 18.
Yeah,
So
they're. I would hope.
yeah, right.
I would hope, but
But
we should.
again, different times. It's the 80s, so
Yeah,
you
we
never
should have
know.
fact checked that one. But yeah. So they I think they just kind of just start, and then they just lay next to each other, and then Billy's like, "Hey, do you want a drink?" And Julia's like, "Yeah, sure." And meanwhile, we get like a POV camera of someone outside the house, but and just like looking through the windows, and then watching Billy get drinks, and then Billy, I guess, hears something, then walks to the window, and then they hide, and he goes upstairs, and then they start drinking. I think it's just like, say like Coke or
Coca-Cola,
Pepsi,
something, yeah.
and Julia asks, well, tells Billy that Carlson stopped by, and he tells him what he asked. He's like, well, what did you say? And he said that it's none of his business, and he's like, good. And she's like, well, then why haven't we done it more often? And he's just like, he says something, but then he starts like saying like, well, you're really beautiful, and and he's like
You're
sexy and
perfect, and
all this other
yeah.
stuff, and then they start like actually going at it now. And then what happens?
Uh,
Fucking Aunt Cheryl slams open the door and tells the slut to go home.
She's pissed.
Like, what the, like, the words being used in this movie. I really want to see someone try to make a movie like this nowadays and see if it fucking passes. You know,
Yeah.
like using all the same words and everything, and
Mm-hmm.
like this is crazy. Uh, so Julie goes home, and then we get a scene of Billy. He's like butt naked. We see his ass, and he's going into the shower, and then fucking Aunt Cheryl just walks in. He's like completely naked, and he's just like, "Come on, can you just leave me alone?" It's like like she's done this multiple times before
I know,
or
right?
something. It's like, just leave me alone. I'm just trying to take a shower, and then she tries to like kiss him and like hug him while he's naked, and it's just like
Fucking
this movie
weirdo.
just gets creepier and creepier as it goes on. It's good. It's good. It's just creepy as fuck. You
Yeah.
know, I love like these scenes and how they're shot and how intense they are and how um uncomfortable they make you feel, because that's exactly what
Yep.
they're trying to go for. They want you to feel uncomfortable. You know.
Yeah.
So then he does that. Then you see, she's down in the basement again, talking to the picture, the shrine. But
Mm-hmm.
then I think we finally know. I think is it at this point where we know
Um.
what exactly she's talking to? Is that later on? I don't know if there
Um.
was two times that we talk. She's just talking to just a shrine. I don't think.
I think it's later when Billy finds out that that
Yeah,
we
it
kind
must
of,
be because I don't have that written down here.
yeah, because
So
I
yeah,
don't
she's down there
either.
just like talking to the picture again, even more like, oh, I got her to leave and all this other stuff, like talking about Julie and like he's gonna stay from now on and all this other stuff. Like I have him, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Then we cut back to the station where Cook. I like Cook.
Yeah, me too.
I like him a lot. The way that he goes after these things is way more logical than just my mind is set on this one thing and screw everything else.
Yeah.
Cook goes finds information. He tries to bring it to Carlson. He tells Carlson about Billy's parents and that there were rumors about uh, the brakes being tampered with. And Carlson's just like, and like whatever. It's like, well, if you knew who was there at the house at the time, and now that you know that the
You
brakes
put two
were
and two together.
tampered with, you can kind of know what we're dealing
Yeah.
with. And then we get even creepier, dude. This movie, it's just like
It gets weirder and
it just
weirder.
gets more intense and more intense as it goes on. Aunt
Uh,
Cheryl, this motherfucker finds drugs, puts it in the milk, gives it to Billy, and like says, "Have a good time at the game tonight. I will be there. I'll be watching." So we're at the game. This is when the scout's supposed to be there. Okay, Billy's supposed to be put on his best performance and all this other stuff. So it's going very well. Julie's also there, and Charles is like still pissed off at her and doesn't want anything to do with her. So
yep.
she's taking pictures, and Charles like watching. Then we start to see Billy start slipping, and he's like shaking his head, and he's like, "Whoa, what the hell is going on? Like, something's hitting me like really, really
So
hard right now."
dizzy. Yeah.
Then he gets to the point where he's starting to like, I think he like drops the ball or something, so he has to do like the free shots, and he's just
Yep.
missing them all because he's just blurred
He
vision
can't
everywhere.
focus. Yeah.
And he just faints. And what really pisses me off is that Julie tries to go over there and like comfort him, and Cheryl's just like, no, nope.
Just pushes her out of the way.
Pushes her out of the way, and it's just like, nope, he's mine. Get away. Then we cut to Billy waking up. This is 14 hours later, Cheryl says. He wakes up in the creepiest fucking room. It's supposedly
Yep.
the attic. She cleaned it out, put in like all of his old like baby toys and kid toys
Pictures and
bunch of weird stuff. And then I think
it's
there was something
weird.
else that happened here. Oh, she takes out, she has like a gold box with like
The
stuff in
jewelry
it,
box.
and then
Yeah.
takes out I guess it's a
Like a
wristlet
bracelet.
or a bracelet or something, And he's like, "This was your mother's. She had it on her when she passed away." And Billy's just like, I don't,
He's
I
like,
don't
no,
want
get
that."
away from me.
And then she brings him. I think she brings him more drugged milk, right? Or she's drugging
Yeah.
milk or
She
something like
puts a
that.
few more drops in, yeah.
Yeah, and then while she's doing that, Billy is like sneaking out. I think he was going to the bathroom, but then he was like, "I'm gonna go into her room. I want to see what else is in that box." So he sneaks over there. We get some uh, pretty intense music. Also, there's not a lot of music in this movie, but when there is,
It's
it's
pretty good.
loud and intense.
Yeah.
So he's there. He's like looking through everything. He finds the box. Then he finds I think it's a picture of Chuck, and he's just like, "The hell?" And then some other stuff.
Yeah, like a
Does he?
locket or something,
Does he?
and like,
I don't think he takes it at this point because
no.
she opens the door wicked slowly, carrying all the food, and then just slams it on the ground. Just like, oh my
It's
god,
psycho,
lady.
man.
Like, just relax. You just can't just say like, hey. And he's like, what? She's like, you're going through my personal stuff. Don't ever do that again. Like, okay, I understand that. Don't go through my personal stuff, but you have to slam down the
Yeah, right.
tray so
And make such a
goddamn hard.
mess.
Like, holy shit.
This bitch crazy.
Super crazy.
But
I'll let you take it from here because my notes are getting like really jumbled up. I don't know what I did here, but
yeah, you're
go
good.
ahead, Aaron.
Yeah. So I
A
have a
lot
note in
happens in this
here.
movie, guys.
It just
Sorry.
says Carlson is a dick.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, so at this point, found out I think it's Carlson and I want to say Cook talking.
Yeah, he has like
Um,
a prisoner or somebody he like
oh,
apprehended in there too.
yeah, no, it's the yeah, the Mexican dude, and he's like pointing his gun at him.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck are you doing,
Yeah,
dude?
he's like treating him like shit. He's yelling at him in Spanish. Like what this guy do?
Yeah, it's
Damn.
just like,
Um,
sit on the ground. It's like, what
yeah,
the
right.
fuck?
Just treating him like complete shit. And then Cook walks in with some new information on the
Mm-hmm.
case, and that's when we find out that Chuck had randomly disappeared one day, and just hasn't been found or seen since. And as you know, Chuck is supposedly Billy's mom's ex-boyfriend, but there had to have been some kind of history with that,
Yeah, something.
shrine and stuff. So like history with Cheryl, but yeah, so and then he's just like, yeah, whatever. I don't need your, advice or,
Yeah.
um, so
Like, I don't care about any more information, dude. My mind is fucking set.
yeah, he's like, I'm gonna prove that Billy did this, and but then I believe this is when we cut to Cheryl in the bathroom. Zoom starts off. She's got a pair of sharp ass scissors in her hand, and you just see hair falling to the sink, and you're just like, okay, somebody's getting a haircut.
Like,
And she just
why?
starts chopping off her hair so unevenly, which makes her look even more just like she's got this like menacingly like psycho look on her face too the whole time, and the hair
Yeah,
just like
she's
tops it off.
unhinged.
Um,
She's legit unhinged right now, dude.
yeah.
This is real
So,
Cheryl.
but yeah, that haircut just like I don't know, it was like the cherry on top, and just makes her look so much fucking like more perfect for the role, like of this like psychopathic aunt.
Yeah. And like I think she even like changes how she like her stance too. She's like all like
Hmm.
hunched over.
I know.
So it's just like, what are you
Like she's
doing?
all decrepit and
It's
shit.
just like my bones or something. You know, it's just like, oh my
Yeah.
god.
She's like fucking what's his name from Lord of the Rings? My precious.
Oh, Gollum.
Smeagol, Gollum, yeah, Gollum. But and then you cut to Billy, who has a note that's folded up, and he slides it. You can tell it's Cheryl's door by that like creepy painting hanging outside the door. Almost, I'm not sure if it's supposed to be like Jesus or something, because she must be like crazy religious. But
I
it's
don't
kind of a
know. We don't
creepy
really touch
photo,
on
though.
any religion in this movie too.
But I
Which
can only assume,
yeah.
you know, but based on like, how everybody thinks, and,
Yeah.
the time period. But yeah. So he leaves a note at her door, and he's talking to Julia, and they come up with a plan. He thinks something's up, something's wrong. He saw the Julia box with pictures of Chuck. He wants to check it out
Yeah,
even more in depth. So
I don't blame him.
yeah, so he talks to Julia. I keep calling her Julia, but it's Julie.
That's okay. I was doing the same thing when I was watching the movie.
Most of my notes say Julia.
That's fine.
um,
Close
but
enough.
yeah, so they come up with a plan. She goes into the house to distract Cheryl. Um, he's hiding behind the wall. There's like two doors that are like 10 feet apart that go into like the house. It's kind of
Yeah.
weird, but so she goes into the kitchen and she's like, "Hello, hello. Is Billy here?" Because as far as Cheryl knows, Billy's at school or at practice or whatever.
The usual, yeah.
So, um, so she comes in. Cheryl's freaking out. She's like, "Get the fuck out of my house, you slut! I
Yeah.
don't want to see you." Um,
Fuck,
Meanwhile,
man.
Billy sneaks in the back door. He gets into her bedroom. He's searching through her stuff again, and Cheryl breaks down in front of Julia. Starts crying and like, "Oh, I don't want him to leave me," and just like this whole thing, like about her past, and
Yep.
um, so and Julie feels bad. She starts comforting her. Oh, actually, while breaking down too, she's pounding fucking like pork or something or
Yeah,
steak.
it's obliterated, dude. Like
Um,
she's
like she's
smacking that thing
going
so
hard on
hard.
it.
That meat mallet just destroyed that shit. You can look at it, it's just like
hmm
meat.
Yeah, right. So, and then she stops crying. She asks Julie, she's like, "Oh, can you go into the fridge and grab some chicken for me or something like that?" And she's like, "You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna try and get on good terms with this lady
Yeah.
because she's around. I love Billy, but anyways, and then Cheryl comes up behind her and tenderizes her head. Um, she knocks her out with a wooden. Yeah, that thing was wood too, which doesn't
It
seem
was
very like
it was big, dude. Like that
that doesn't
mallet
seem
was
very
huge.
sterile though,
Yeah.
but yeah, so she knocks her out. Um and that's when she decides I believe then Billy um comes from downstairs or something like that, or the door, and she's like, "Where you been? I thought you were," or "I thought you were upstairs," or he's like, off doing whatever.
Yeah.
um
And she
but
also I think she dumps the rest of the drugs into the milk too
yeah,
after
she
she
starts putting a few more drops in, and she's like, "You know what, fuck it," and just dumps the whole bottle in. I want to know what what it is, but
some sort
there's
of
so much
really
stuff
really
of.
strong sedative.
hmm but yeah, and that's when Margie and her husband, I believe, again, or is it just
It's
Margie?
just Margie.
Okay, yeah, Margie comes in. She starts helping herself. She's just like, "Oh, hey, all right, I'm gonna make myself some coffee." And Billy sneaks around. He's like, "Oh, hey, Margie." Cheryl sees her. She's like, "Nice haircut. What do you do?" Oh, she's like, "I like it," and like all
It's good,
hesitantly.
isn't it?
It suits you. Which I mean, it does.
Yes, it does.
um,
For sure.
so yeah, and then that's when Billy had more milk at this point, poison milk,
Yeah,
and
he's fucked, dude.
he's not feeling well. And she's like, "Oh, you better get to bed," or something like that, and passes out in front of them in the kitchen, both of them in the kitchen. And then he wakes up to both Margie and Cheryl standing over him.
Yeah.
Um,
He just looks so sick.
yeah,
And
um, it's
yeah,
just,
and I think this is when Margie I think is like told like or she's like, "Oh, I'm going to go home now." And all this other
she's
stuff. And
like,
she's
"I
like,
don't need
"Okay.
you anymore."
You can go ahead and do that." And while she's going down the stairs, she also hears Cheryl talking to Billy, and Billy
Oh
pulls
yeah,
out the paper that
gonna lock it.
that he found in the gold box, and then she's like, "Yep, yep, I'm your mother. Yeah, I'm your mother." And Marge is just like, What? And then even Billy's just like, Mom, Mom. It's just like, oh my god. Just like, if
She's
you,
like, in,
this movie doesn't really prepare you for this.
no,
First time I watched this, I was not expecting that at all, to be
no,
honest.
but
So, like, finding out that Cheryl is actually Billy's
and Chuck is the dad,
and Chuck is the
supposedly.
father, and then
Yeah,
we now know that Chuck is in the basement because Cheryl was also talking to him even more. I think before Julie showed up, but that's
yeah,
okay. So then Margie's trying to like do something and like hang around and find some more information. Uh, Cheryl goes downstairs and Margie's like hiding, and then the phone rings, and then Julie's mom calls and is just like, "Hey, have you seen her?" And we don't hear her mom talk, but we know what's being said because
yeah.
Cheryl's talking about her. It's like, "No, I haven't seen her. If I knew that she was here, I would have seen her." And then she's like super like snappy and quick, and she's like,
Hmm.
I guess Julie was supposed to go home and bring her mom to the airport. And she's like, "Well, I don't know anything about that. Like, I guess
Just
if I
get a
see
cab.
her, like, I'll let you guys, I'll call you and let you know or whatever."
She starts getting pissed while she's talking too, though, which she's
It's
got some
like,
anger problems.
it's her daughter. She's trying to figure out where she is. She's worried. Like, at
Yeah,
least try to help her out or something. But
yeah, right.
as she's walking away, Margie shows up and then she's like, "What are you still doing here?" And she's like, "Oh, I was closing your windows because it looks like it's about to storm." She's like, "Okay, well, there's like an umbrella in the closet. Grab it and then leave. Go." She's like, "Oh, okay." Then I think she grabs milk, and then we see her going. Cheryl's going back upstairs to Billy,
Yep.
and
Um,
then uh,
you got Margie looking for the umbrella.
yeah, she's looking for the umbrella, and then she finds the camera, which we know is Julie's, and then a jacket. So she goes to. She doesn't go out yet, but she does go upstairs. What the hell did she go upstairs for? She just went upstairs
Um,
and like hid in the bathroom and was like
well,
waiting.
yeah, she like pretends to leave.
Yeah, yeah. She opens up. That's right. She opens up the door, and then closes it, and then runs upstairs or something like that, or hides in like the closet.
Yeah,
Um, but then also I think Cook was also telling, because he got also a phone call from Julie's mother at the station, and he's like, "Oh, okay, when we're supposed to be there and all this stuff," and he's like, "Okay, well," he tells like one of the other officers like, "Hey, tell these people where I'm gonna be, and make sure you tell Carlson as well. I'm gonna go check this out." So he goes, and now he's on his way to the house
there.
to see what the hell was going on.
Yeah,
Then we see Julie downstairs in the shrine wake up. Um, I think that's before Margie is seen by Cheryl, right?
yeah,
I
yeah.
think,
She
or it's
like,
like the other way around. The whole I have it all written here, but this ending it goes by so fast.
mm-hmm.
It's crazy. But I guess I'll
Um,
talk about Margie first because I
okay.
think that is what happens first. So she leaves, and then Cheryl, I guess, is like knows that she knows what the hell was going on because she was like in the house. Then Margie is leaving, but then hears like some sort of noise. I don't. I think she's like making like a cat noise or something. And
Oh
Margie's
yeah,
like, "What the hell is
she's
that?"
like purring and shit.
And then we just see fucking Cheryl come out with a machete. Where did she get the machete? I
Who
don't
the fuck
know.
knows?
But she's just like even more crazy, and it just like slits open her stomach, and then she's dead. And then Julie also wakes up, and then she's also trying to escape.
Climbs out the window.
Yeah, and then she goes into, I guess it's like another shed, and then she's
Yeah.
going in there, and then fucking psycho Cheryl is just in there with a machete, knowing that she's gonna walk in there for some reason, and then who comes walking through the door? All
Sergeant
innocent
Cook.
Cook is trying to check up. I don't know how he knows everybody's in there. Maybe he saw Julie walk in
Like
there. He's like right around
walking.
the
Yeah.
corner or something. But this guy is also kind of creepy. He just like hides in bushes and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But he goes in there. He's about to turn on the light, and then goes there, turns on the light. Arm gets chopped off by the machete, and then his neck is slit. And then Julius is like, "Fuck."
Can we talk about the practical effects though for when he got his
Yeah,
hand
go
cut
ahead.
off? it's it's just so like I'm not even gonna say cheesy because that's what they had to work with back then. But
Yes,
just
yes,
you
yes,
can
yes.
tell it like it was like a plastic hand just falling out of a sleeve.
Yeah.
Like,
It's so good though. I love like the cheesy
hmm.
80s like
Oh, same.
effects and everything. It's so funny and it's so charming. You know, it's really gory sometimes.
Yeah.
Um so he dies and then Julie throws like a rope at Cheryl. She drops the machete, grabs it, then Julie runs out screaming. Then Billy wakes up and hears the screaming and he's just like, "What the hell is going on?" Meanwhile, he's still like heavily sedated.
Yeah, so you can
He's
barely make it down the
he's like
stairs.
trying to. He's like falling down the stairs. We get a little bit of a chase scene with Cheryl and Julie.
Julie.
Then they get to, I guess it's a
Like a
pond
yeah, or a puddle or
or
pond or
some
something.
giant mud puddle, and just like out of nowhere, and it just started raining, and it's already filled up. So I don't know if it was already water there or whatever, but that's besides the point. So then they start doing like wrestling, and looks like Julie's about to win. She's kind of overpowering Cheryl, but then
Yep.
Cheryl just gets crazier and like
It just
drags her
OP.
drags her ass over to like the side, where you would like get down in there, grabs a rock and just bashes her head a couple of times, and it cuts back to Billy tumbling down the stairs, and then he makes his way to the phone, tries to dial it, and this creeps me the fuck out, dude. I have this quote here, and this really creeped me out. And he's like, he was able to, it's like, where's Julie and everything, and then Cheryl like stops the phone and stuff, and then
Yep.
says, "I'm your girlfriend now."
Yeah. Oh, I got chills when I heard that shit.
And it's just like, what the fuck, dude? This movie, it doesn't stop.
It's
This is the
just
last 20 minutes, and it's still adding on to the creep factor. Like if I had to like rank this on a 1 to 10 creep factor, this is 100. It's a
yeah.
100. It's so creepy. So
And it's not even like in like a scary way though, more like a just
it's
like a fucked up
unsettling and
way.
like
Yeah. It's just like gross kind of like
oh my god, just imagine like a family member or something like that like saying that to you,
ugh,
like, "I'm your girlfriend now," with a
I know,
crazy
right?
look
While
and
strangling you with a fucking phone cord.
yeah, and like a crazy haircut and like
Hmm.
the eyes like bugging out of your head.
Oh
But he manages
man.
to I think he grabs, it's like a sewing needle or something like that, right? Something,
Steak knife, I think,
is it a
actually.
steak knife? He
Yeah. It's like
grabs
a
that
little
and
knife.
just like stabs it in her chest, and every time she gets stabbed, it's so over exaggerated. She's like, ooh, ooh. I'm just like, oh my god, really? And then he manages to finally call, and he calls his coach.
Of all
Because like
people.
early in the movie, he's like, if you ever need anything, just call me and I'll be there and I'll help you. So he's like, I just killed my mom, and he's like talking about, it's like, my mom, she's dead.
I
I
killed
just
her.
killed her. And it's just like, even him saying that, it's fucking creepy.
Yeah.
But then what happens? This
Yeah.
motherfucker comes back and then starts like slicing him up, and then he gets like a
Yeah, she
fire
like pulls it out
poker.
of her chest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he gets a fire poker, and she lunges at him and just goes straight into the
Just
poker.
fucking impales her.
And like even more like over exaggerated, like I'm dead like faces. Oh god. And then get another nail in the coffin, and who the hell shows up? Fucking
Fucking
Carlson.
Carlson.
And this has to be about maybe like 15 minutes later, just because of what happens. So he shows up. There's already a bunch of cops there. They find Marge's dead body, and he's like, "Well, where's Cook?" And like, Cook's dead too. He's like, "All right, I'm going in." He draws his gun. He walks in there, and who does he find?
Finds
Billy and
Billy.
Landers together next to Cheryl's dead body,
Dead Cheryl.
and he's just like, "Okay, away, away." He's like, "Dude, I didn't do any of this. Like Billy was like self defense and all this other stuff, and he just slaps like Landers out of the way. But then Billy, no, I think as he slaps him, he drops his gun,
Yeah.
and then Billy grabs the gun, and then Carlson's like, "Dude,
Don't do it, man. You
give
won't
me the
shoot
gun.
anyone.
You're not gonna shoot anybody." And while Billy is just looking at him like so intense,
And he just keeps accusing him of shit too. He's just talking shit the whole time
it's
to him.
like
He's like, you won't shoot me. He's like, you don't do it. You know.
it's like who's the one with the gun right now?
Yeah, right.
And then Billy's just like he's just had enough and just blows his ass away. That gun is super powerful too, like
Yeah,
chunks
that's like
of
a
him
44
coming out.
Magnum right there.
Yeah, it legit is. I think a Magnum. It's a big gun, and he shoots him like 2 or 3 times. And I love what happens next too, because Julie walks in with the well. I think before that, even Julia says like, "Hey, Cheryl did it." This is before
Yep.
like Billy blows him away, and Carlson still doesn't give a shit. It says
No,
like
he's a
Chuck's dead
piece of
body's
shit.
downstairs and everything like that.
The other cops even like, oh, maybe I should go downstairs and look. He's like, no,
No,
he's because he doesn't want them to find the evidence. You know,
yeah,
he
he
wants to try
wants
and he wants Billy to go down.
yeah, he wants these people to go to jail because they're gay. Well, quote unquote, one of them's gay. So yeah, he gets blown away. Then the officer comes back in with Julie, and he's just like, "Shit! All right, drop the gun." And then Julie's like, "Oh, I want to go over there." But the way the officer handles this, you know, he is so goddamn happy that Carlson is dead
Yeah,
because
right.
he's just like, "Yeah, you can go see him." Because normally cops would just be like, "Nope, nope, this is now a crime scene. You can't go over there. Leave him be." But he's just
Yeah,
like,
you
"No,
can tell he believes them. You know that she was batshit crazy. He
yeah,
doesn't like Carlson, so he's just like, you know, these kids have been through a lot, probably. You know,
yeah."
but
And Landers is okay. He just has like a scratch on his head. But that's about it. Um, and then we end the movie with
like Julie comforting Billy.
yeah, he's like
They're both
crying his eyes out.
crying.
And that is Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker, aka Night Warning. Well,
Yeah.
I don't. I was trying to figure out why it was called Night Warning. Did you get any information on that? I
I
couldn't
did
find
do
it.
some research, but a lot of people are just talking about how the names don't make any sense towards the movie.
Yeah, it's like
So,
Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker. Imagine if she was
but
like a butcher and then baked people.
yeah, right. But if you think about it though, too, Butcher could mean like, yeah, she's killing people. Baker, she's like, you know, she's an aunt. She takes care of him, you know, like she bakes
Mm-hmm.
some
Yeah, I
cookies. And
guess.
then Nightmare Maker, meaning, you know, like a serial killer or a fucking psycho, you
Just like
know. But
ruining his life. Yeah.
yeah. But you know what I like too about the end that not a lot of movies will do. Like from what I've noticed at least, but like they'll give you like a little like blurb, like a note about like what went down afterwards, like, you know,
Yeah, I
Billy
didn't write
going
any
on
of that,
trial.
so
But yeah, it said that he went stood trial for killing Carlson, but you know, the jury acquitted him and they both ended up going to the University of Denver together and
yeah. Good.
but
It was a happy ending.
yeah.
Very fucked up movie, but very
But you end
happy
up with a
ending.
relatively, yeah, pretty happy ending. I mean,
The asshole's dead and the psycho's dead, so I mean
Billy can
some
move
really
on with
good
his
people
life.
died, but it's
Yeah, but it wouldn't be a horror movie without that, though.
yeah, this is technically a slasher. There is a body count.
Yeah,
Um but I don't know if I'd really call it a slasher. I would think this is more of just a
like a psychological like
yeah,
thriller.
psychological horror creep movie.
Yeah,
But if I had to rate this on 1 to 10 blood splatters, what would I rate this? The acting is very good for it being sort of a low budget. The writing is not too bad. I think it had some really good, strong points on it. The twist, well, actually multiple twists because there actually were
yeah, a few of them.
were very good. It wasn't a lot of practical effects, but when there was, it was cheesy, but it was also good.
Yeah, I like the simplicity.
Um,
So
And it's also not that long of a movie, and I like to put that into account. I don't like things being
Mm-hmm.
too long because it makes it a little
You
hard
don't
to
want to
review.
drag out too much, yeah.
So this is kind of really straight to the point. I would honestly, it does have its flaws, like every movie.
Yeah.
I would probably give this like an 8.5,
Yeah.
to be honest. What about
Yeah.
you?
Like I said, I like the simplicity of it. It wasn't anything too flashy, but it gets the point across.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I like how it kind of keeps you on the edge of your seat, and it kind of fucks with your head a little bit. And the whole time you're almost like disgusted, but like
Yeah.
at the same time you're fascinated.
Mm-hmm.
It keeps you interested. I did like you said, that wasn't too long either, because you don't want things to be dragged out for too much.
Yeah.
Um, but it did have its flaws, like you said, but nothing too like crazy. I thought it had a cool story.
Yeah. I
The
can't really
score, the
think
little
of.
bit of a score that it had was good.
I can't think of any other movies that are kind of like this. Like there are psychological thrillers that would have something like this, but this the way this
Hmm.
is constructed and
It sets
written,
itself apart that
it's
way, though,
it's definitely
and
not like a movie I've ever seen before, and it definitely
yeah,
has a different feeling than like a lot of other movies. Like
from that time period, yeah,
yeah, it's like the beginning of like what was to come, but this is still like I think way above and beyond like what some of the other movies have, just because
yeah,
of the topics that are in this movie.
yeah. No, it gets some touchy subjects in it, but I think movies and entertainment is a good way to bring light to stuff, that like social issues and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. So like, I think they did a good job at like, like I said, bringing that stuff to light without like really, um, like not shit talking,
Yeah, not
like, or being
crucifying the
like negative.
characters.
Yeah. But so,
Yeah,
with all that into consideration, I'd probably give it an 8.5 as well.
yeah, and like I said, like this does it brings justice to like the gay community and everything, especially like nowadays. I think you got everybody should watch this movie. Like, yeah, the words that are said in it
But
cannot be said or fly today, but just the
but
way
that's
that
what it was like back then, it's
yeah,
part of
exactly,
our history.
yeah,
It's
but like with I like the actual person who was said to be gay and is proven to be gay in the movie comes out above and beyond the the bully and the person who's going after him, and also the person who's being slandered, who is not gay, also comes out victorious and lives a better life. So it proves and really makes light like evil does not win.
Yeah,
No matter
exactly.
how drugged, sedated, how hurt or
You can overcome
bruised,
obstacles
yeah, or broken, you are going to come out victorious, and don't let anybody bring you down. Like
as long
if
as you have the
you,
right mindset and
yeah, and like if you have a story, stick to it. And that's what they did
yeah,
throughout this whole movie. They stuck to that one story. I mean, Carlson did too, but he was
but
never like being enlightened and like
yeah,
learning.
very close-minded.
Yeah, be very, you know, open and ready for what's going to come.
Yeah.
But yeah, this movie was great. I will definitely watch it again just
Yeah, I'm
because
gonna have to revisit it.
I love just watching Cheryl be fucking crazy.
It's like, yeah.
Um,
I can't express enough how perfect she was for this role,
yeah,
honestly. Like did
great,
so well.
great. I mean, they all did very well. Even like Billy
Hmm.
did really well too, and we see a lot of him. Yeah, she's very very good. One thing we didn't
But
do at the beginning of this episode, Aaron, was talk about our socials.
oh, yeah.
So,
Oh,
if you want to plug where people can find you, we can do that right now.
all right. Well, you guys can find me on Instagram. I'm gonna put the name in the or the tag in the chat. You can follow me there. I've been trying to post more as much as I can on there. If you like animal pictures, those are on there. But yeah, I'll try to post updates as often as I can about when we're going live or when we post new episodes for our Patreon.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm mostly active on there though, so yeah, follow.
And where you can pretty much find all of the podcast content. I try to run everything else as much as I can. You can find us on Twitter, which is just the BHO podcast at on Twitter. Also here on Twitch, where you guys are watching this right now, which is the Baron's Hideout podcast, well _podcast. On Twitter, we are also on TikTok, which is just where I post
like promos and
all of our promos and just like short little videos. That's all with the podcast. So that is also the Baron's Hideout _podcast on TikTok. Also on Instagram, which is also the Baron's Hideout _podcast.
But you can find it all consolidated on Linktree in the
Yes.
Instagram page.
Yes.
Anything you need will be in there for you.
Yeah, we're also on YouTube. So all of these, for anybody who doesn't like to watch videos on Twitch after the fact, they do get uploaded the following day, which is Sunday, because we record this on Saturday. We usually do it at night, but today is a little bit different, like I said, due to personal reasons. So yeah, all of videos will be on YouTube. All the other ones from all the other episodes are on YouTube as well. And we also have a Patreon. So if you guys want to support us, the best way to do that is to pledge on our Patreon. We start at $1, go to $3, and then $6. Tier 2 and 3 will include a exclusive sticker of the podcast if you guys are subscribed, or I guess they say pledged, but you're pretty much subscribing to us for 3 months.
Yeah.
That will be sent to you pretty much for free, even though you guys are supporting us there anyway. So all of the audio versions get uploaded there the night before everything else,
as well as special topic specific episodes every Wednesday.
Yes, but our topic episodes on Wednesday, and those are the audio files, and the exclusive episodes are exclusive to every tier. So all you gotta, if you guys want any of that stuff, just all you gotta do is pledge $1. I don't, like I say all the time, I don't really like asking money from people, but if you do like the content that we put out and you guys want to support us even more, that's the best way to do it. There's also ways to do that too through on Spotify and stuff like that. There's a way for you guys to also support us there, but we don't really promote that much just because we don't really have a handle on the pricing and stuff on that. So Patreon is definitely the best way to support us. But I think that's about it. I'm not missing anything, right? I always feel like I do. So.
At this point, we can probably just open up the chat if anyone has any questions, comments, or concerns.
Yes.
That maybe
we got a couple of minutes, so if anybody has any questions or any recommendations on what you guys would like to hear us talk about, which I am going to talk about what we're going to be doing for our next month, because we are officially out of movies from the list that we put out, I believe. So after we see if anybody has any questions or any comments or anything, I will say what we'll be doing for the next month. Seem like anybody does, so I will go ahead and say that we are going to be. I was throwing around this idea with Aaron if we were doing like subgenre based movies for each month. And I think it would be really cool if we started out doing foreign films, because we haven't done a lot of foreign films here. We've just been doing mainly American / like English spoken films.
So we did start off with a foreign, with Edge of the Axe, because that was
is that Italian?
I think it was either Italian or I want to say like Spanish.
Yeah, but it was still in English. But these ones will be they will be dubbed, or I guess we can even like include like,
I like subtitles though.
Maybe we can include like a Dario Argento one. Maybe we'll do Suspiria. We can include that in a foreign one. That'll be our one English spoken foreign film. I think that would be good, because that's another one of my favorite movies. I
Suspiria is very
good. I don't have the actual DVD, but I do have the 4K sleeve right here. The DVD's somewhere over there. But Aaron and I both saw this together Oof.
A couple years ago,
A
I
couple of years
believe.
ago at Salem Horror Fest, they were streaming it. And that was our first time seeing it, so we saw it in the theater, and it was great.
Oh, I
Um,
love that movie.
so I think maybe we'll start doing that. That'll be our movie for next week. What do you think about that?
I'm down.
All right, that's another movie that has a lot of stuff going on in it, and may not make a lot of sense. So we are going to try our best to make it make sense for all you guys, because even professionals who review that movie and a lot of other Dario Argento films don't know what the fuck he's doing, and Dario himself also has claimed that he doesn't know what he's talking about in some of his films. So that will be very fun.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but I think that's about it for this week's topic. For Wednesday, I don't think we have anything set yet.
Not quite yet. It's in the
So
works.
we will be posting it on all of our socials. So make sure that you guys are following us at least on Twitter. That's where I am most active, and you guys will know all the updates for every stream, whether it's a podcast stream or if it's just me doing a random horror game stream, which will probably be tonight. I'll probably be coming back for Resident Evil 8 a little bit more. But I think that is about it. You feel good, Aaron? You think we can close it out, or do you have anything else you
I'm
want to say?
feeling pretty good, I think.
All right.
I think we about covered it all.
All right. Well, this was the Baron's Hideout podcast. I'm your host, Dustin.
And I'm Aaron.
And we will see you guys later. Stay spooky. And don't do anything stupid.
Or do.
And
up to you.
Everybody, take care. Thank you for anybody who was watching this live stream. And we will see you guys later. Make sure, even though you watch this live stream, make sure you go listen to the audio version as well. We are 5 away from hitting 50 total plays, guys. That's our next milestone. We need 5 more plays on any episode. So make sure you guys are going to check that out. And thank you guys so much for being here, and we will see you guys later. Have a good one, everybody.
Bye-bye.